Hey guys, welcome on back, and I've got an addendum video that goes along with to the previous video that I couldn't complete before. Is it alright to talk? Alright, good. Okay, so sorry about that. That just kind of popped its way in there on its own. I had nothing to do with it. But in either sense, welcome back to the Anchorage. And yeah, this is an addendum to the previous video that came out a few days ago. I mean, I won't say anything regarding the viewership of that video. I mean, as of today, it's like 3 days later or so, and there's only been 5 views. Whatever. It is what it is. It's because nobody watches my stuff. Whatever. If you happen to like it, please give it a like. And, you know, if you want, subscribe to if you wish. Your choice. I'm okay with one way or the other. So in either sense. So, you know, yesterday I decided to take a gander on something regarding CJ that I wasn't so sure about. Doing certain updates to the Nextcloud Pi application itself. And then, of course, to upgrade Nextcloud should I wish. Well, Nextcloud needs to be updated incrementally, so from one to the next before, you know, get up to date. And so that was that one thing. But I went into the web interface for the Nextcloud Pi administration and went through the web interface, and you know, that was giving me problems because I'd go to do something and it would say error, try refreshing the page, and I'd refresh it and be like, okay, it's back to normal. I'd go to do something and it would say that there's a write error of some type. I think I know what the problem is, but I'm going to have to take time separately to do that when I've got time to dig into it. So what I then did is I went into the command line interface. We often call that a CLI. And, you know, through its menu system, which is graphical, but it's text graphics. And, you know, and I went into there, and of course, that's more reliable than the web interface. So I went ahead and I used that. And I went ahead and I updated Nextcloud Pi from 1.57 to 1.58. Now, 1.58 comes with the next version of Linux, Debian in particular. Debian Trixie specifically. And however, since mine was already built on Bookworm, when I did my updates for that, they were updates for the release. And so it doesn't actually bring in, you know, the actual full package or list of packages. It brings in updates for Bookworm to bring it up to, I'm assuming, Trixie level. So I went ahead and I did that. Worked fine. I totally expected it to fail out. I went back into CJ and it was working. So I'm like, okay, now let's do the stuff for Nextcloud. And I decided to do it using that same updater for in the Nextcloud Pi application. And you know, you can do configuration, security, and everything in there. So I went ahead and I went to the Nextcloud updates and I loaded those, and it went to 3308, and then after that I went to 34 or something. And with 34, it's a whole new version. And that's actually 2026 spring of Nextcloud Hub. So Nextcloud Hub 2026 spring. So, and it came with all of those updates, and that's all working. So what I want to do is I'm going to take a quick moment, get those screens up so that I can show them to you. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we are now all the way out in CJ. So here it is. And here is the dashboard screen. This is the first one that comes in here. And you can already see in a couple of the changes with this new hub release, 26 spring. So, right off, and it's mostly up at the top. Everything down in here is pretty much the same. But up at the top, you can see that all of the applications that were once running along here are no longer here. They are now in this menu. And I don't like this menu. I like it when all the apps are listed, the icons are listed all the way across the top. Well, this is nice. It's convenient. It's pretty and everything. However, there is currently no way to switch this back. There is, on the support forums, there is or at least on the GitHub page for Nextcloud, they are, there's people that have been saying, hey, if you want this changed, get it out there. It's on the books, and we just have to wait for the change to have enough influence of likes from people to make the change and, to give us the option to use this version or the version where they're all up at the top. I want all at the top. That's just me. And there's a bunch of other people that want that too. The next change is right up in here. Search apps, files, tags, messages. Very convenient, very easy to use. It's right there. Boom, boom, boom. And you can do your search right in through here. And it's a unified search. But just like with this, you can't change this. You can't change its position. You can't change the fact that it's there. I'd like to turn it off. I don't want to use it. I don't need to use it because it's just me on here. So, you're wondering which thing it is. We are on version Nextcloud Hub 26 Spring 3403. So, there it is right there. I did not do my updates through here because, like I mentioned, they had to be done incrementally, and I used the Nextcloud Pi updater to take care of it, and it took care of it. And I wanted to make sure that if it was going to bork itself and brick, that I could go ahead and use one of my image files of the drive and also my data backups on the hard drive. And I've got both actually sitting on the hard drive that's attached to it. So recovering would be very easy. It would take a little bit of time, but nothing outrageous. So there's that. And, so I'm on that version and everything got saved and, it's all there. So if we go out to deck here, and I'm going to go to the Anchorage. So here we are. So here we have, these. Now, these two were actually preserved. This one I created earlier today. Now, that was because, let's see. Okay, it's got an image, but it's not displaying. That's not so much of a big deal because I don't use it on this computer. I use it on Solaria, my Linux box. That's where it matters. So, but when I first came in here, it was working and stuff like that. I tried to remove the said attached image. I tried to remove this. Well, not this one, the previous one. And I'd come over here and I'd say remove attachment and it wouldn't do it. So that's a bug. It's not so much for me because I can just recreate the card, and I did that and I repopulated it and put in the image. This is reusable, so I'm going to use this going forward every month. And here's my disc quest. That one's fine, and I'm going to use that one. And I don't have this video listed here because it actually falls underneath this one. And as we can see, the card, create the title. Of course, that's the original title. I haven't changed it. I might, but or I'll probably set it up for next month, which is September. That'll make it easier. And I've done all of these steps. And of course I'm in production right now. I'm not going to worry about that. So there's that. And, everything else, if I go into here again, if I go into, let's say, tasks, there they are. They were all preserved. And if I go into notes, those are preserved. Those are all here. And I can go ahead and I can make edits. That's working just fine. And come back here and that's this is basically all it is. And it looks great and it works just as well as it did before. It just kind of needs a little bit of help. So there you go. That is basically the big gist of it. One other neat little function that came in with it is regarding cards. You can assign colors to cards. And, there's a caveat to it as well. All the text you see on the cards is in white. Well, at least for me, it's in white. But if you're using a shade that is either, let's see, a very bright shade, if you like using the dark like you saw, if you use a dark shade of a color or stuff like that, of course, you're going to see the white just fine. So, but if I was to use a really bright shade for a color of a card, that text does not automatically adjust its color to contrast it properly. And that is a bug that needs to be addressed. Am I going to be the one to put a thing on that? No, mainly because they want certain information presented, as well as, a reasonable description of the issue, but they want all kinds of other data that I don't feel like digging out from my instance. This is my instance. It runs the way I want it, and I'm not giving away that kind of information. Granted, on the big picture, it's no, never mind. It's perfectly fine. I just choose not to divulge that information. That's just me. No doubt somebody else will be more than happy to provide whatever information they need. So that's that. I mean, I've got my way. It works just fine. I'm not concerned with any of the bugs or whatever. So I'm just going to leave it be and everything there. So that's just a quick little addendum up to the previous video regarding my updates. And I just wanted to give you all of that. So it's nighttime. As you can see, it's kind of dark in here. I'm trying to brighten it up a little bit. I've got my big light up here, but neither sense. We're going to call it there. So thank you very much for coming along, Skál, and I'll talk to you again soon, probably in a couple weeks. Talk to you later.